What's up, big guy? You want to start us out here at Baz on Blades? Give him the logo, give him the slogan, give him the Baz on Blades line. Worthless. Absolutely worthless. What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and of course, I talk about blades, and today we're talking about a blade of a different kind. I have gotten 3 or 4 requests to go over my guitar rig. I guess there's people out there that still play guitar besides me and the 48 gazillion other people on YouTube. I'm not going to be playing any guitars, but I am going to go over my rig. It is very minimalist, as I'm a very minimally skilled musician. I'm laughing calling myself that. So let's start out down here on the floor on a pedal board. Very simple. I'm running delay and chorus. There is a reverb pedal there, but it is not hooked up. Running those time-based effects through the loop on this thing. Up front, I've got a Strobo Stop strobe tuner, a power brick in my, I think that's a 535Q, Dunlop 535Q, so the tricked out wah. That I never ever do anything with. It's just there so I look like I know what I'm doing. All of this is running through the PRS MT15 amplifier. That is the Mark Tremonti of Creed, Tremonti, Alter Bridge fame. Very highly respected guitarist. This is signature model. It's a little 15 watt tube head that punches way above its weight. It sounds really good. You can hear it on any of my videos. It sounds even good. It sounds good even through the phone microphone. So this cabinet is an Avatar Speakers.com contemporary 2x12. It is a very large and deep 2x12. It is modeled off the Orange amplifier PPC 212, which is probably the biggest production 212 on the market. Just to say this, I came off of my previous amp was a full stack that was 6 feet tall on top of 2 Mesa Boogie 4x12 cabinets, oversized cabinets. And this cabinet for basically a 2x12, if you doubled it out for a 4x12, it would be bigger than the biggest oversized Mesa Boogie 4x12. This is a huge 2x12. It has tons of bottom end. It's loaded with 2 Celestion V30s that are relabeled as Helitone 60s by Avatar. They buy these in bulk. They relabel them as Helitone 60s, and then they exercise them by playing tones and music through them for 12 hours to relax them, and that helps to break in the speakers before you get it. It's a fantastic option that doesn't cost anything. You just choose, instead of choosing regular vintage 30s, you choose the Helitone 60s. And Avatar is a fantastic little company. Custom cabinets. You can change the coverings on it. You can change the grill cloth. You can change the piping color. They've got multiple different models of every common size of guitar and bass cabinet. Fantastic place. You can choose from like 100 different speakers from Celestion and Eminence and Fane and just all kinds of different speaker manufacturers. So you can mix and match those speakers any way you want. Fantastic company. So up on the wall, guitar wise, you're going to see a lot of very cheap guitars, which I am into, buying cheaper guitars and then spending money on modding them and having them set up. This Jackson right here is an X series soloist. It is a neck through, and it does have a fixed bridge. All of my guitars are fixed bridge, no Floyd Rose tremolos here. Okay, this one has a spalted maple top over some sort of cheap ass wood with a neck through. An ugly purple burst finish on it when I would have rather had natural over spalted maple. A matching headstock in color only. You got the white Jackson pickups, which actually sound pretty decent. They're copies of Duncan Distortions. This thing is like finely grained crushed glass through this amplifier. It's got a ton of really saturated sizzle. It sounds fantastic. Next is another Jackson. This time it's a Rhodes, and this is an FSR here, which stands for Fender Special Run, and it's basically an exclusive. It was an exclusive to like Guitar Center and Musician's Friend, and then maybe it spilled over to the rest of the market after a time frame. It's in oiled mahogany. There is no finish on it. It is just rubbed down with oil, raw wood. The entire guitar is. It's a very lightweight cut of some sort of mahogany. Not classic Honduran or African mahogany. I don't know. It's very lightweight. It's very resonant. That guitar is extremely loud acoustically. Yeah, it's got a good looking amaranth fretboard on it, which is Purple Heart. You know, they use the less purple colored parts, but you can still see some purple bleeding through that darkness. This wood over on this X series is some ugly ass Jatoba or something like that. It's brown. It's brown. It's like just brown. Not very interesting at all. Next thing we got is my Sparkle Pink Ibanez RG421. This is the coolest guitar that I own. That Sparkle Pink is totally badass as long as you can rock it. And jumping up on stage and playing a bunch of down-tuned, heavier style classic metal on this thing, that would be just a joy. Love that guitar. It's just classic RG fixed bridge RG421 model with a maple fretboard instead of a darker wood. Fixed bridge again, dual humbuckers, yeah. Newest guitar. This is new in the past couple of days, and the real reason to do this video, really. This is my new 7-string. It's just another cheap Jackson. It's got a quote-unquote quilted maple top, but I doubt very seriously that's even a veneer. I think it's a photo, you know, one of the photo flame overlays in a quilt pattern. Otherwise, that's a fantastic tubular quilt that's on that, but it's got absolutely no play in it. Typically in a figured wood like that, as you move it with, at different angles to the light, you can see the light play through the cellular structure of the wood across that figured grain. So here we've got another Ibanez. This is a semi-hollow, the only semi-hollow I have. I've had this guitar for about 15 years. This is an AGS 83B. It is no longer made, has not been made for years. It is all over flame maple, front, back, and sides in a brown burst satin. It has a very good looking, nicely dark rosewood fretboard. The ugliest block inlays I've ever seen. The cheapest abalone, crushed looking abalone bullshit. Holy crap, those are ugly. But this guitar is so badass. You talking about having fun playing some down-tuned metal. I've got this guitar dropped down a full step to D standard, the same as all of these guitars. I'm not playing around with this semi-hollow. You can throw down some chunky stuff with it, and it plays like a dream for a semi-hollow. It's got a super thin Ibanez neck. Yeah. So the last thing we got here is another Jackson, another cheap ass Jackson. But I wouldn't trade this guitar for nothing. It needs a little setup. I think the neck angle could be a little better, and I got to get this plastic nut off of it. It causes a lot of string stick tuning instability. But the necks on these Jacksons, now I used to be a huge Ibanez Wizard neck fan, and I still am, but the Wizard 3 that's on this guitar, Insider Geek information here, is a little bit different than older Wizards. It's still very thin, but the shoulders are much more pronounced, and I don't like that as much as the Jackson Speed neck profile. They're the same thickness, but the shoulders on the neck profile are rolled off on the Jackson, and I prefer that feel. Not that either one of them is not way faster than I could ever be on the guitar. I'm like a hack pretending to be a hack that just saw a hack once and is copying them. I'm like a hack 4 times removed. Check out the side view on this Ibanez. Flame maple. Flame maple all the way around. And the back too. It's a good looking guitar. I'll never get rid of that thing. Never get rid of it. It's not replaceable as far as I'm concerned. Every one of these others, you can replace them. For cheap. I mean, way cheap. So, any of you guys that wanted to know this stuff, if you want any other information, pickups in all of these guitars, stock pickups. I very seldom ever change pickups in a guitar, because most stock pickups from the bottom up are pretty decent anymore. You know, they may not be the exact tone you're looking for, but you can often, I think that's a big difference in the voicing of a guitar. I mean, why have, you know, 6 guitars here if they all sounded the same because I changed the pickups out going for my ideal tone? Well, they've had a different playing experience because they all feel different in the hand and play differently, but your tone wouldn't be as diverse. I can, you know, make a radical change from this high-end sizzle, fine crushed glass tone of these Duncan distortion copies. You go over to this guitar over here, and it has a much bigger, rounder mid-range voicing. It sounds a little beaky compared to those others, and it doesn't have that top-end sizzle. So you may have to adjust the high end and the mid range on the amp when changing. That's how much of a radical change it is, and I prefer that. Plus, it saves you a lot of money. I mean, I went through years where I was chasing tone, you know, changing pickups and electronics in guitars, going from actives to passives, changing amplifiers. In a 2-year period, I went through like 8 or 10 different amplifiers, 2 high gain tube heads trading around. And that's, buying them new, that's $15,000 worth of amplifiers that I had to go through here. You know, nothing real expensive, but, you know, I tried all the rectifiers at the time, 50 and 100 watt rectifiers. I've tried multiple of those. All the PV high-end tube stuff from the good times. 5150s, both versions of them, Triple X, the JSX. I've owned all of those. Then I went through tube swapping on all of them. And you know what? Now I just play everything stock. Unless something's wrong, I'm not changing anything. So there you go, guys. Very minimalist. Let's keep the... Oh, shit. How much time is that? 13 minutes already? I'm just talking about stuff that half of you guys know nothing about because you don't play guitar. The other half, I don't know. We like to make fun of each other's rigs. If you want to talk about how small my rig is, I can just say this. I'm not compensating for anything. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That little motherfucker sounds good. I can tell you that right now. All right, guys. That's enough of that. I won't bore you with any more of this guitar talk here in East Tennessee where we like to pick and grin. But we're picking our noses, and we are grinning about that because we're all drunk and having sex with our cousins. So, don't be jealous. Just tune in the next time for Baz on Blades. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again. Let's take it out here with Jax the Destroyer. What do you got to say, big guy? Leave me the hell alone and let me sleep.